A brand new month means it's time for me to show off some of my favorites from the prior month. Yep, so stay tuned to see what I enjoyed in the month of February. Hello everyone, it is Samantha and I hope you guys have had a great day so far. I'm excited about today's video because it's my February favorites! Yay! So I don't actually have as many favorites as I normally do from February because for some reason I didn't try as many new things, but I definitely have a few things I want to share with you guys, so stay tuned to see what those things are. So as always, I like to start out with some of my bookish favorites from the month, and I always like to shout out 3 of my favorite booktube channels from the prior month. It's always hard for me to find people to shout out because I follow so many people, so as always guys, just know that I love all of your channels. You guys are fantastic and I love and support all of you, but these are 3 of the people that I have chosen to shout out this month. The first channel I want to shout out is Jo from the Retired Book Nerd. I love Jo. She is the sweetest person ever. Her channel is fantastic. She reads everything, basically. She'll read mysteries, classics, fantasy, and she's always so lovely, and she always takes the time to comment on people's videos, and she's just so nice, and I love Jo. She just makes you watch her videos and it makes you feel like warm and cozy and fuzzy inside. She is definitely the sweetest, and I highly recommend you guys check out her channel because she is definitely one of my favorites and I just never get enough of her videos. The next person I want to shout out is Amanda from Amanda Center. I love Amanda. She just makes me laugh in her videos. She's kind of funny and she just never ceases to put a smile on my face. She just makes me really happy, and she reads a lot of fantasy and she reads a lot of classics, and so basically if you like my channel, I think you'll like her channel as well in terms of what she reads. But she's always really honest with her opinion, and she has wonderful, well thought out videos, and she's very articulate, and I always really value whatever she has to say because I know that I can trust her opinion. And then the last person I want to shout out is PT from PT Hilton. I love PT. I've better read a few books with him, and he is always fantastic. He always has a lot to say, and he has really, really excellent input. He is a writer, so he does a lot of writing videos, and he has some books actually out and published on Amazon, which I've heard amazing things about. I still need to read some of his books, and I feel bad that I haven't done it yet, so you can check out his stuff on Amazon as well. And then he also is a really big comic and graphic novel reader, so he's had some really great videos about comics and graphic novels in addition to writing. So if you like both of those things, I think you'll love his channel as well, and he is just a really fantastic guy, and he just is really fun to watch and listen to, and he's another person that I always really value his opinion. So those are my 3 booktuber shoutouts for the month of February, and I'll be leaving their channels down in the description, so be sure to check out those links and subscribe and show them some love. To my next bookish related item, it is my favorite book from February, and that is The Red Knight by Miles Cameron. I love this book so much. It's a fantasy story set in its own world, but it has a lot of things that are reminiscent of our own. So the languages, the Christianity, the countries are reminiscent of like France and Germany and England. So though it takes place in its own world and a lot of the names are changed, it's very like our own. And it's almost like an Arthurian retelling because a lot of the characters are very much like characters from the Arthurian sagas, and he even says in the afterword he based a lot of this book on Arthurian legends, particularly Tolkien's version of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, so that was kind of an interesting little tidbit. And so I love Arthurian legends, so of course I was going to love this book, and it's definitely an epic fantasy. It can be a little bit hard to get into because there's so many characters, so there's a lot to pay attention to, but once you get invested in the story, it's excellent. It's very well written, and the story is phenomenal. It follows a Red Knight who's a leader of a band of mercenaries, and they have been hired to protect a convent and a nunnery by the abbess from the creatures of the wild. But you soon discover this is not so much a case of protecting this convent as so much as trying to win a war against the wild. And the wild is full of creatures such as demons and boglins and other magical creatures, and are led by this sorcerer named Thorn, who used to be a man, but he's not really a man anymore, and they're trying to take over this convent because it's like a source of power, and just everything is so epic and amazing, and I absolutely loved it, and I loved all of the parallels between Arthurian legends, and it was amazing, and I cannot wait to continue on with the trilogy. I will be having a full review and discussion coming out for this soon, so be sure to check your eye out for that, unless it's already up, in which case it'll be linked down below, so check the box too, who knows. The last book related item I have to show you guys that is a favorite of mine is actually a purchase from this month. I've read this book before, but I got it, I finally own it. I finally purchased my own edition, and the edition I am absolutely in love with, and it is this Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. It's a Barnes & Noble classic, I think, although I've never seen it in any of my Barnes & Nobles, and it came from the UK, so I'm not entirely certain. Somebody told me it was, so don't quote me on that, but you can find it on Amazon from other sellers, and this book is gorgeous. Look at it. Look how pretty it is. I love the gilding and the pale pretty gilded, and I love the faceplate. And then inside, look at the end pages. Look at them. And then it also has full color illustrations, such as right here. And this book is gorgeous. This is one of my favorite books from my childhood. So when I saw this edition on Amazon, I knew I had to get it. And I have it displayed in my bookshelf that's over here. And I love it so much. This was definitely one of my favorite things that I got last month. Moving into TV, I had one show that I watched all of the seasons last month. And I'm still sad that it is over. And that is the IT Crowd. The IT Crowd basically shows the adventures of Roy, Moss, and Jen. And Jen is a manager of the 2 IT employees for this company. And it kind of follows all their little misadventures and their quirkiness. And the show is a lot of fun. It's hilarious. It made me feel so happy. Like I kind of want to rewatch it again. And Moss is fantastic. Moss is my favorite character. I love Richard Ayoade. I don't know how to say his last name, but I love him anyway. I've seen him in a couple of other things and he's fantastic. And I also really love Chris O'Dowd, who of course is in Bridesmaids, and then Catherine Parkinson, who plays Jen. She was in an episode of Sherlock, and she was in Dr. Martin. So I love all of these actors already, and together they were just really, really great together. Their comedic chemistry was perfect, and the show's a lot of fun. So if you haven't checked it out, be sure to do so. You can find it on Netflix. And then I watched one movie this month that I really, really enjoyed, and that's The Intern, which stars Anne Hathaway and Robert De Niro. I really like this movie. It centers around Anne Hathaway, who's the owner of this like clothing company, and they take on a group of interns, and among those interns is 70-year-old Ben, who is played by Robert De Niro, and he ends up becoming the intern Anne Hathaway, and it kind of shows how their relationship goes and how he kind of brings a certain amount of stability to her life. He kind of becomes a friend and somebody that she can go to for advice. And it was just a really lovely and heartwarming movie. Anne Hathaway was fantastic in it. I love seeing Robert De Niro in these type of roles as well, especially after he's done so many movies where he's played like such a psycho creep kind of a character. So it was a great role for him. He did it really well. And the movie itself was just very heartwarming and kind of gives you the warm fuzzy feelings a little bit. But it was definitely a fun movie and I highly recommend it if you haven't checked it out already. Moving into games, I have one game that I absolutely love this month, and that is Nico at Sumi. Nico at Sumi is a really, really great Japanese game. It's an app and you can find it on Android and iOS, and I love it. And there really isn't too much to it. Basically, you have this yard and you can put out cat toys and cat food that you can purchase with sardines. You have silver sardines and gold sardines, and then you attract cats to your yard. And then you can take pictures of the cats and you can collect them in your cat book. And then certain toys will attract rare cats. And then the cats, when they leave, will leave you gold or silver sardines, which you can then use to buy more food and toys. So there isn't a whole lot to it. All you do is set out the toys, and then you close out of the app, and then you have to open the app again in order for it to refresh to see if any cats have showed up. And it is just a lot of fun. It's like really relaxing. There isn't a whole lot to it. There isn't really a point to the game except for that it's fun to look at. The cats do cute things, and it's just kind of relaxing and soothing. So, and it's free, which is even better. It's free, and it's one of the few games where you can actually play without actually having to buy anything, and it's fantastic. So I've really been enjoying that game all month. And this month I have a new coloring related item that is a favorite, and that is these Stetzler pens. I have been eyeing these for a while, and I've seen a lot of people on Instagram using these in the Johanna Basfer coloring books, so I'm like, I'm going to try out a little pack. And sure enough, these are the best coloring pens, particularly for Johanna Basfer's coloring books. They don't bleed, and they're easy to blend between colors, which I was having a hard time with the Stabilo pens because they kind of want to bleed together. These don't, and the tips are perfect for doing like fine details. So I'll show you the tips. They look like this, and then they're like these little felt tips, and they look like that. So it's these nice little tips, and they blend really well. I got the 10 pack. They are a little bit spendy. They're about $1 a pen, so like a 10 pack costs about $10, and you can find them on Amazon for a little bit cheaper. And I just noticed they have like a 36 count, and I'm like, oh, I need that, but I really don't need to spend that money. But it's really nice pens for coloring. I'll leave the link down below if you guys want to check it out. So if you're looking for a new coloring pen, I highly recommend these guys. They're the best ones that I have tried so far. Finally, we're moving into the last section of this video, and that's beauty-related items, and I have 2 new beauty items that I loved this month. The first is nail polish, and that is this Essie Starry Night nail polish. It's from their new collection that I'm not really sure what it's called. You can identify this line by these little stars on the lid that you can see right here, but I'm not sure what the collection is called, but they all feature like these thin, small, glittery specks within the nail polish, and this one is fantastic. It looks like this. It is basically blue with silver sparkles in it, and it looks like Starry Night, like Van Gogh. And I actually wore this to Wizard Con, where I got to meet Matt Smith. More about that in a second. So I wore this because it's very reminiscent of Doctor Who, but it's a really, really, really pretty nail polish, and I just love it so much. The last beauty-related item is mascara. I tried new mascara this month, and I chose the Big Eyes Falsies by Maybelline, and this one is really cool. It has two wands, one for your upper lashes, which looks like this right here. It's a nice thick wand, and it gives you really good coverage, and it's not clumpy. And then there's another wand down here for your lower lashes, and it looks like that. And it's like a thin, thin wand, and it works really, really well. It actually really thickens up your lashes, and it separates them, and it's not clumpy, and it doesn't really make them look thick and heavy. So I was actually pleasantly surprised by this mascara, and it's definitely a new favorite for me. So my last kind of favorite related item from last month is, of course, my experience of going to my very first Comic-Con. I went to Wizard Con last month in Portland, and I got to meet Matt Smith. The photo is right here. Got to meet him, take a picture with him. It was a fantastic experience. I cannot believe I met him still. I did a whole video on my experience at the con, as well as a small haul of the items that I got at the con, the items I picked up. So I'll link that video down below if you guys are curious about checking it out. But it was definitely one of my favorite things that I did last month, and it was an overwhelming experience because of all the crowds, but it was also super cool because, I mean, I got to meet the doctor, and he was really nice, which was great. So it's definitely a memory that I will cherish for a very long time. Alright guys, that is it for my February favorites. I hope you enjoyed it. You'll have to let me know if there's a favorite item you guys like during the month and what that is, or if you have any cool makeup recommendations for me, because I like makeup and I kind of want to try some new stuff. So let me know for something that you guys really love. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until my next video, have a great one. Bye!